Every decision matters. At the law office of Andrew W. Stewart II, we provide a skilled defense to protect your record, rights, and future. Call today or visit drewstewartlaw.com. Your future is worth defending.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's scary that it can be put into anything and we can't even see it or notice it.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome in to Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. We do anticipate that if you're looking for hot weather, we've got a lot more of that on the way over the course of the next few days as those temperatures are really building heading into the midweek and really the extended forecast here. One of the big factors that we are looking at going forward here in the Room Weather Center. So again, the big factor, as we mentioned, is the fact that temperatures are getting hotter, but still a little cool to start your Wednesday morning once again, kind of like the last couple of mornings, but it's just that stair step upward, just a little bit warmer as far as that is concerned. As we look here at slightly warmer conditions for Wednesday, I think we're back in the 90s, but I think we're really going to start getting those temperatures a lot hotter as we head into probably late this week and the weekend, but next week is when we really start to bake. Significant heat is ahead. And of course, we'll break down that full forecast here from the Room Weather Center here in just a couple of minutes. But outside right now, Skycam Tour shows the bugs, shows the temperatures. I mean, all things considered, when you're 86 degrees at this hour in Caledonia, those puffy cumulus clouds is a pretty nice look to the way things are out there. Feels like what it actually is. And certainly that making a difference to help it be pretty nice. Coming in around 86 degrees there. Coming in about 86 in the Mabin area at this instant as well. Just a few of those puffy cumulus clouds. We just don't have a lot of moisture that do point in the mid 60s. I mean, it's not, wintertime dry sort of feel, but it certainly has that stickiness factor just kind of barely there as opposed to being a little overwhelming, which certainly is the case typically this time of the year. And outside in Smithville coming in 82 at this time. Again, those flat cumulus clouds, a very pleasant forecast. Good if you're just wanting to be out and about in really any shape or fashion as far as that is concerned. So I think a lot of folks probably going to be enjoying that, of course, the next couple of days. First 12 here, looking at those temperatures, about 84 degrees still at 6 p.m. We're looking at 72 by 9, 67 as we head toward around midnight, and then mid-60s to low 60s by the first part of the morning on your Wednesday. Again, this is typically for this time of year, we should be somewhere in the neighborhood of around the mid-60s. So low 60s is about where we would typically expect to be. It's those high temperatures where we really start seeing those conditions spike going forward for a few days there. So looking a little more detail as far as that is concerned, one of the things we're watching again is, again, those east winds. That's not a direction that really brings us much in the way of drier air. And so certainly a little bit of improvement as far as that is concerned as well. So coming in about 66 for that low temperature in Tupelo this morning, a little more mild than a lot of spots. You don't have to go that far up to the north up there in Jackson, coming in around 54 degrees for what it is right now, about 57 in Greenville, 57 for Little Rock, and mid to upper 60s there for Jackson and Meridian, and Hattiesburg coming in around 90 degrees. So certainly hotter down in the southern part of the state. But when you're in the lower 80s up here, and it's September, very manageable. We will get warmer over the next few days. Right now, still coming in 82 degrees as of the 5 o'clock hour, 86 in Starkville, 89 in Greenville, 90 degrees there, 91 actually out toward Monroe, Louisiana. Feels like temperatures almost the exact same. So again, it is feeling extremely pleasant around our region. Latest on Mississippi Live Weather Radar, we do show some showers down there in the southern part of the state. You can see just kind of the offshoots of activity kind of working its way out of the Gulf of Mexico, those sort of storms where, they typically start at the coast and work their way northward, showing some toward Macomb and Brookhaven and a couple there close to Crystal Springs and Jackson. I'm going to switch this over kind of to our higher resolution radar out of the Jackson area so you can see those a little more detail. Other thing you'll probably notice, just a lot of green showing up there, just the generally easterly winds that we have, moving bugs and things like that. I mean, the closest thing to maybe something that sort of looks like it was popped up there for a moment, close to Greenwood, we might have had a little something trying to go. But even then, that's probably overdoing it to even state it like that. So, well, other than that, we're dry here across North Mississippi. And really, honestly, dry is the weather story on the wider shot as well. I'm going to switch this over to what we call water vapor. Allows us to look kind of mid-level moisture here. And this big orange swirl that you see right there, that is generally speaking high pressure showing up in ridge. Obviously, more active weather off of the coast, and the pattern's still pretty active out there for the plains with some severe weather chances out that direction, something that we're not going to be looking at around here anytime soon. Honestly, we're just going to really struggle to find much in the way of moisture of any kind of significance. So as we kind of bring things in here, looking at futurecasts over the next few hours, that is up to the northwest where our next front is. But while I refer to it as our next front, it is the nearest front. It is not for us. We are going to just continue to build. Rain chances staying down in the southern part of the state. Of course, we'll break this down in a lot more detail hour by hour here in a minute, looking at your futurecast. But yeah, big difference for locations back in the north and west where they have a lot of rainfall back out there toward Wichita, Kansas, severe weather that way. We're protected by that high pressure, that big blue H that we typically would show. We don't depict it on the wider map here because it's kind of spread out. But in general, it's keeping us dry and clear. And you'll notice even cloud cover remains a bit at a premium as we go throughout the overnight hours. So for the next 24, sunshine, clear skies, obviously starry skies overnight, and then sunshine during the day, the big story. We're 62 for that beginning temperature on your on Wednesday morning, 73 by 9 a.m., mid-80s by noon, and upper 80s by afternoon. So we are warmer than we were for today under what should be, again, these mostly clear conditions, but hot will be defined in a big way as we look forward through the extended forecast. That's what we're looking at coming up here in 60 seconds is just how high those temperatures are going to spike. We've had to adjust them up a little further. I know I have picked on Gabe a little bit because I was making fun of him. I'm like, hey, you know, he was hoping that maybe we would be done with the 90s for the year. Yeah, anything but, unfortunately, because we are definitely going to be heating things back up in a big, big way as we look toward the extended forecast. We'll look at that in more detail coming up here in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this. Assuming I found my mouse on the right monitor here. Give me a moment. And now right after this. This.
As a nurse, I've seen a lot of people with sleep deprivation. It affects their job, their home life. At Room to Room, we want to take the guesswork out of buying a mattress, and that's why we brought in this technology. It shows you what you need. We want to do the assessment and find exactly what's perfect for you.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Beautiful weather watcher picture coming in from last night. Josh in the Starkville area. The one benefit to the drier weather is you just have some beautiful shots here. Appreciate this one that she shared with us here in the Room to Room Weather Center as we looked out there. Of course, we appreciate all your weather watcher pictures. We'll hopefully get a few more of those coming up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. And you can, of course, send in, because I think a lot of times, at least in my opinion, you get some of the more colorful pictures when you have a somewhat limited number of clouds. I think that's the way we'll probably find things again for this evening. So appreciate all of you guys for doing that using the Mississippi Live Weather app. Outside right now, Mississippi Live Weather Radar, kind of like what we're looking at in the Jackson area. We're kind of closer here about the northern part of the state. Again, just bugs and things like that, gradually moving from east to west, again, associated with this relatively dry air. And I think it's the dry component of this air that really starts boosting the temperatures going forward because it allows us to, start mild, but end hot. And the drought that we have had certainly figuring in on that as well here. As going kind of the wider shot on our visible satellite perspective, you can see all of these little dots represent the clouds, and they're all fairly small out there, all things considered. Puffy cumulus clouds, I say that with the exception of what we have going on down in the southern part of the state. course, down there, I kind of run off my highest resolution satellite data, but you can see, again, some of those little showers down in central Mississippi. We don't have much of those north in our area. Again, part of the reason why we are dry and likely to stay that way for the next couple of days. Outside right now in Fulton, our Mississippi Department of Transportation camera there showing up again with those nice puffy cumulus clouds, 82 degrees. Just a beautiful night. At the beginning of the show, my son and daughter were heading out to a soccer game this evening. I'm very rarely more jealous of going to a game than I am of them this evening. It is just beautiful out there. Find a way to get outside and enjoy it. Appreciate all you guys there in Itawamba County for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. Looks like our Clarksdale camera has decided to go down in the last little bit here. Okay, we'll have to check in on that, see if we can figure out the very latest on what's going on with that one there. But 8 to 10, hold on. Do I have 2 of my 3? Did I guess inappropriately on my cameras? I think I might have. Okay, well, 86 the actual temperature. We wish it had some of that cloud cover out there, or maybe we don't. I like the sunshine, but if you need a little shade from that, that certainly would help. That forecast as far as school bus is concerned for your Wednesday, we're 62 at pickup tomorrow morning, so just a little bit cool. Not quite as cool as this morning, but it's in the neighborhood of that again for tomorrow. And then drop off temperature around 89 degrees. Again, appreciate the good folks there at IMPC for sponsoring our school bus and school day forecasts, and all those folks for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather, including all the all commercial advertisers. And appreciate you supporting them. Certainly they support us, and it helps us to continue doing this. So Futurecast, isn't that cute? It tries to kick out a little shower up there near the Tennessee state line. I think that's, again, more the exception to the rule than the rule. And honestly, even then, clouds big enough to produce showers, that would really probably be an overestimation for sure, as we're keeping it dry again into this evening and into the overnight time period. Most of those showers down in South Mississippi, as you can see there. We do have a few showing up closer to Jackson and Hattiesburg and down closer to Crystal Springs this evening. But most of those, even those, as we go beyond really midnight or so, they're all out of here. So on the wider shot, again, dry weather for the first part of your early morning on your Wednesdays. You're heading out the door. Again, partly cloudy skies, but dry. Our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, will have updates starting at 6:30 tomorrow morning on Mississippi Live Weather this morning. And then you'll notice as you're heading out the door again, it's going to be kind of cool. 61 there, not chilly per se, but just a little bit cool. It's about 61 there, Corinth, 61 in Iuka, mid-60s for locations such as Clarksdale, Cleveland, back toward Belzona. As we progress into and through your Wednesday, again, mostly clear conditions through 7:30, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, so mainly dry. Notice, though, the shift in wind direction. See these southeasterly sort of winds down to our south and east, Gulf of Mexico, so starting to bring in a little bit more stickiness and starting to build those temperatures a little bit more. That will eventually, of course, really kind of help those temperatures to heat up. But we are still dry here as we progress through noontime and into the afternoon. Here are those partly cloudy skies developing into the afternoon to early evening on your Wednesday, on what should, again, be a dry day. For 95% of us, Futurecast tries to get that one little shower going down here closer to Greenville and moving toward Cleveland. But again, you saw it's only really on there like for a blip. It's a sign that even the models trying to be as aggressive as they sometimes can be in this situation, showing that it's probably going to be dry. As we look at those temperatures, we'll go about 93 in Clarksdale, 93 Tunica for highs on your Wednesday. We're 92 in Bruce, 92 in the Houston area, and coming in somewhere in the middle 90s for most locations as we progress throughout the next couple of days. That's when those temperatures really start building more into the middle 90s. So again, kind of an easterly southerly wind there showing up on Futurecast into your Wednesday evening, but we remain dry into Wednesday night, 10 p.m., 11 o'clock, midnight or so. Again, mostly clear conditions, and now could persist into the first part of early Thursday morning. So all things considered, things are looking pretty good. We'll go wider on the shot here once again to show that, yes, we do have fronts around. They're just not here. In fact, our front up in the north, you can see how it's alternating that red and the blue and the red, a sign that it is stalling out. It just doesn't have much in the way of cooler temperatures behind it. And so it just can't force its way in here. So yeah, while we do have some showers showing up, even as close as Middle Tennessee. Let's come in a little closer here. This is one of our better chances, but even in the most aggressive, and our strike model tends to be pretty aggressive, you'll notice how those rain chances mainly stay to the north of us. It does have maybe a blip showing up here, northern Tishomingo County by Thursday afternoon. I think that is incredibly optimistic. I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that's the case, but I really think that that is a pretty aggressive representation on how this could go. I think most of the conditions will probably be fairly dry. And as you saw there, with all that talk near the Tennessee state line, if you're down here in Tupelo or Amory or Houston or Eupora, just a non-factor for us. We do need the moisture, obviously building on the deficit that we have had, but temperatures instead going to build. That's the main story here, and that'll kind of bake out more of the moisture. So we're looking at about 96 there, Clarksdale. We're at 95 Belzona, 95 for Greenwood for high temperatures on your Thursday. Normal this time of year, somewhere around the upper 80s. So yeah, so we're looking at the better part of, really 8 to 10 degrees kind of above that value. So it will continue to be pretty warm out there for most locations. As we go into your Thursday evening and Thursday night, we expect again probably to have low temperatures down probably more mid 60s. So that's that warming trend, getting a little warmer day by day. So hour by hour forecast on your Wednesday, we're 62 at 7 a.m., 85 degrees by noon, high temperatures, low 90s. Above normal, yes, but not in an extreme way. We'll be 88 by 5 p.m. and 73 as we look toward the latter part of the evening. We're 94 for your Thursday, 94 degrees for Friday, mid-90s on the way, as you can see, for Saturday and Sunday. I mean, you can see I left off the rain chances. The rain chances aren't truly zero, but they're just not good. Not good enough to have any kind of reliance on it. So if you're still working on a garden, we're still warm enough for that, but obviously this is our dry season, and you're probably used to continuing the water this time of year. Absolutely a necessity in this situation to keep doing that, because drought conditions, as is typically the case, continue going through a bit of a building phase, which is something that they usually do for this time of the year. Of course, I want to check over here and see what we have on our Facebook chat. I appreciate everybody for kind of supporting us as you do there. I'm going to check in on the chat. We haven't looked as much today. Appreciate y'all in New Albany and out there, really all across the region, for kind of supporting us here, and all the crew on Mississippi Live Weather as we continue to, a lot of folks there talk about it won't be long until we have cooler temperatures. That is absolutely the case. It's just that time of year where we all know that's where this is headed. Speaking of headed, we are still dealing with a pretty tight vote as far as our Mississippi Live Game of the Week is concerned. I want to double check here for a moment while we're on the 7-day forecast. Now, I just want to check and see how that vote is shaping up, because at midday today, we had everybody within about a percentage point as far as the vote was concerned. I just saw a second ago Water Valley School District sharing that. Let's check and see here where we're at. Oh man, is that really that close? Okay, so as of this point in the afternoon, we are 32% for East Webster at Biggersville. Let me go and pull that down. We are at 31% for Coffeyville at Water Valley. And we are at 36% for Mantachie at Hatley. And that's, only a couple hundred votes separating each of these. We will have, coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, our announcement as far as who that Game of the Week will be for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. Of course, brought to you by the good folks there at Langston and Lott. We appreciate them for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. And of course, we'll have the latest on how that goes. But you continue to vote. Just go to my Facebook page. You know where to find it there. Just search for Matt Laupon or facebook.com/MattOnTV to cast your vote as to where we will be for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week coming up a little later on this week. And a reminder, of course, our next live broadcast will be coming up at 6 o'clock. We're going to look at some of that rainfall deficit, where we're sitting over the last few days here, and what some of the rainfall estimates look like in the far extended forecast. Also breaking down the latest on what's going on in the tropics. That is coming up here from the Room to Room Weather Center on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We appreciate your support here, especially on a beautiful day. Get outside and enjoy this. There are just so few days where conditions are as nice as they are outside right now. Make sure to find a way to enjoy it. And of course, we will continue tracking everything in here from the Room to Room Weather Center. So keep it here for the latest. We'll see you at 6.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce. We all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.